Hello, gang. This is Heather for Liberty Librarian. How y'all doing today? It is a fabulous Thursday. We made it. One more day until the best day ever, Friday, which is also the finale of The Mandalorian, which is my newest, favoriteest show ever. I hope you're all as excited to watch it as I am. I won't spoil it for you, but I love Baby Yoda. And speaking of Baby Yoda, I mean, oh, there's a cat. Oh, she's just like, what's up? Yeah. My husband ordered a Baby Yoda figurine. It's a life-size figurine back in January, and it came this week, and I'm gonna show you all right now because I am so beyond excited that I can share this with you. So let me pick him up. He's actually kind of heavy. Oh, this is my Baby Yoda. Isn't he so cute? Look. He's so cute. Look at those eyes. He's got depth. He's got little fuzzy hair. Oh my god. Baby Yoda loves you. So even if 2020 is kind of crappy, at least we have Baby Yoda in our life. And look at this. He's got like an awesome stand. It says Mandalorian, the child under it. Now we know what his name is. It's Baby Grogu. And look what's in his hand. Oops, other hand. He's got that little ball. And it's so cute. So that is my awesome thing that is bringing me so much joy this week. And I told Andy that he needs to get me like one of those baby carrier like slings. Oh, kitty. My kitties are jealous. They're like, hold me, don't hold the Baby Yoda. I'm like, no, kitty, Baby Yoda. So I am just over the top. I love my Baby Yoda. What do you think, Kat? You like it? It's like, yeah, he's pretty cool. She's sniffing his ears and everything. So we're trying to figure out how to incorporate Baby Yoda into our life. And I mean, he's going to be like a toddler for, who knows, another 100 years. So it's one of those things, once you bring a Baby Yoda into your life, you have to take that commitment on. And honestly, it's a big commitment. It's not like even like having a parrot where you're like, this parrot's going to outlive me. Or a turtle, one of those amazing turtles that lives hundreds of years. And, it's Baby Yoda just is so cute. I don't even care though. I'm like, that's fine. You just got to find someone that you're going to pass your Baby Yoda on to. It's like, when I die, you can take on Baby Yoda. And everyone's like, cool. Oh, I love him. Right? So this is the best week in this horrible, horrible year of craziness. There's got to be some joy. So what's your joy? What's bringing you joy in your life? Think about that, right? It's a crazy week. We have the solstice is coming right up on the 21st. There's a huge grand conjunction. All the planets are lining up. So it's a super magical time of the year. If you want good things to happen next year, you want to stay healthy, you want your family to do well, you have like goals in life, on the solstice on the 21st, make your wishes, make plans, send that good energy out in the universe. If everybody thinks like this is all gonna, like, we're gonna make good things happen next year, this is the time to do it. Christmas is next week. Yay! It's one of the most fun times of the year. We've been like a group of friends online, and I have been picking out our favorite Christmas songs of the year. I've been totally avoiding Whamageddon, not listening to Last Christmas, so I feel like I've been successful. I've seen it almost pop up on my YouTubes. So I've been smart, been checking before I start playing stuff. Oh, it's been so close. So have you been Whamageddon yet this year? Yes. Saturn and Jupiter, right? We're going to have like craziness. I just hope things kind of get better for everybody. I am up to here with this year. And so I actually found a really interesting thing that I wanted to talk about tonight. Like right now we're all super hyper focused on lockdowns and the presidential turnover to Biden and the fact that Trump won't concede and um, that like what else is there? That we're all kind of focused on being like when is the vaccine going to get out and what's next, right? We're all focused on that you may have missed a few of the big things that happened this year, and it seems like it's so much crap has happened this year but I'm going to remind you of some of the craziest things that have happened this year, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the good, joyful things that this year has brought too. So, the year almost started with World War III. Do you remember, like, the fact that at the beginning of the year, on January 2nd, right after the year started, the Pentagon announced that President Trump had ordered the assassination of an Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani, who was killed via drone strike. You probably don't remember because it passed over quickly. In the hours that followed, Iran threatened harsh retaliation and traffic to the U.S. Selective Service, the agency that would be responsible for any eventual military draft, spiked so high that the website crashed. Meanwhile, jokes about the beginning of World War III proliferated on social media. Vox even published a piece about coping with war and crisis through memes. Oh, how young and innocent we were back then. And nothing happened. Like the pandemic started and everybody forgot that we were going to do World War III, and then it just went away. How crazy is that? This is the year they killed off Mr. Peanut. I'm going to show you what Mr. Peanut looked like. So for those of you who don't know who Mr. Peanut is, Mr. Peanut. I'm going to, oh gosh, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Mr. Peanut. Here's a good picture. That'll be a good one. If I click that, will it just open? Oh, Business Insider sucks. I just want the picture. I'm going to right click on it. Just show open image in a new tab. There we go. Hey. So I'm going to show you what Mr. Peanut looks like in case you've forgotten, because he's dead now. It's sort of like the Oscars where you got to go, this is the year Mr. Peanut died. And they replaced him in the Super Bowl with the baby nut. I don't know why they would kill him off. It was a dumb thing and very thinly veiled marketing. We had people die in the year, but they were gonna do a Mr. Peanut funeral, but Kobe Bryant died about 4 days after this came out. How crazy is this? I'm gonna just show you what Mr. Nut looks like, because I don't even remember. They kind of got rid of it. It was cute. It was an obvious there we go. It was an obvious kind of baby Yoda, baby Groot kind of thing, where they're trying to cash in on the cute thing. And you know what? People are too smart for that. There he is. He's just tiny there. But, he's a baby nut. So they focused on they're going to make it so they're going to have this funeral for Mr. Peanut, and then baby nut shows up and life is better. But they decided, since Kobe Bryant died and people were really focused on the fact that he died and they were very sad about it, that they decided that they weren't going to have a Mr. Peanut funeral, and they evaluated next steps through a lens of sensitivity to those impacted by this tragedy. What about a bunch of bonkers shit? It has been such a weird thing. Yeah, can we just talk about anything better? I don't know. It seems like it's bad. But so anyway, They unveiled Baby Nut at the Super Bowl, and it became quickly that Baby Nut suffers from rapid aging, and he celebrated his 21st birthday in August and acquired the new name Peanut Jr. It's unclear if Baby Nut Peanut Jr.'s aging has been proportional or exponential, though the answer does not bode well for the character's longevity. So, I bet you don't remember the Baby Nut shit. Nope. So the weather went wild this year, because of course it did. Hey, Total Vagabonds. Hello. Nice to see you. We're talking about some of the weird stuff that we've already forgotten about this year. And maybe it's best that we forgot about some of it. I think we have this sense of amnesia as the year has gone by. Right away in the beginning of the year, there was huge, horrible wildfires that burned 3 billion. Like there was like I'd say the majority of Australia burned down. In 141 years of climate records, there's never been a hotter January than the one this year. New York City was reclassified as a humid subtropical climate zone. And Florida is also considered that. So yeah, New York City was hot too. So nearly 3 billion animals were affected by Australia's wildfire season, which ended in March with more than 46 million acres burned. Yeah, anything better? You want, like, how much better do you want, man? Like, good news? Yeah, we're going to get to the good news later. This is like, we're going to talk about the bad shit first. So there you go. If you want to, like, take a lay down, it's like, I can't take it no more. So there was Bob Dylan released a 17-minute song about the JFK assassination. I don't even remember that. And I saw Bob Dylan last year. Like, holy crap. 17 minutes. So I have to actually go and listen to this song because I don't know how much more Bob Dylan could add to it. So that's weird. This is the thing I'm excited about. Oh, bye, Matt. Sorry. It's okay. Fare thee well. I'm not for everyone. That's okay. So the UFOs. So he's going to miss out on the UFOs. So the Defense Department shared UFOs this year. So there were 3 videos of, they're not really sure, so in April, the footage captured by Navy pilots show physics-defying flying objects, which one astrophysicist who briefed the department described as off-world vehicles not made of this earth. Alrighty then. So while the being unidentified aerial phenomena is enough to classify the objects in the videos as technically UFOs, there's no reason to jump to the conclusion that they're the work of extraterrestrials yet. Just a few months later, Pentagon quietly formed a task force to identify UFOs. So, and investigate them. So that's kind of cool. I mean, like, this is a year that UFOs, like, were overshadowed by a pandemic. That's nuts. And the fact that they're just saying, like, this is probably something we don't understand what it is, it's kind of crazy. So that's all right. Another thing that I thought was kind of freaking crazy was the murder hornet thing. Like, did you already forget about them? They do not forget about you. They're still out there. Do you remember that Elon Musk and his, I don't know if they're married, Grimes, like, they had a baby and they named it, I'm still kind of confused by it, Xashay 12? I think that's how you say it. It looks like Roman numerals, and it didn't pass the California birth certificate rules. And I'm not really sure how you say it. So there you go. NASA detected in May a parallel universe in Antarctica where time runs backwards or something. Originally this got picked up by the news and it was everywhere. So the tabloid headlines said that there's evidence of a parallel universe, which I'm going to say, I just watched Tenet this last week, and there's a lot of stuff that runs backwards in time. So after seeing that, I now want to go back and read all of these articles about the backwards time in Antarctica. But it was evidence in that the cosmic rays have been discovered by the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna. We talked about this on the show. The subsequent research paper that argues discoveries were proof that our universe could mirror image of antimatter universe extending backwards in time before the Big Bang, Physics World reported. However, many experts immediately threw cold water on this conclusion that it's backwards time. Don't ruin my sci-fi. Okay, it's all the way overblown and misrepresents what research in question is about, Forbes wrote, in an attempt to set the record straight. Scientists actually found evidence, signals of fundamental particles that may defy our current understanding of physics. It might even just be an issue with how particles interact with ice. So you're saying there's a little bit of a chance. That's kind of cool. So SpaceX launched astronauts into space again. In the first time in nearly a decade. This is one of the joy things. NASA sent 2 American astronauts into space this spring using a launch pad on U.S. soil. Yeah! We went to outer space again, dudes. The event marked the first crewed mission by Elon Musk's private space company, SpaceX, and was followed by a second manned launch of 4 astronauts in November. So we're getting back into outer space. Things are starting to turn back around. It's getting better, guys. Despite troubles aplenty here on Earth in 2020, even those of us who aren't space nuts like Musk should be extremely excited that this new chapter in America's national mission in space, it's happening. So that's one of the good news things, right? Okay. There was more in the scary news. In a giant star 2 million times brighter than the sun just up and disappeared. No one knows what happened to it. So scientists are studying a star in the dwarf galaxy 75 million light years away, and it suddenly wasn't there anymore. They're not really sure why. It was a pleasant surprise for us, said Andrew Allen, a doctoral student in astrophysics in Trinity College, Dublin, who has the most calmest reaction to a missing star that I've ever heard. It simply doesn't exist anymore, and no one knows what happened to it. Normally, when a star much larger than our sun reaches the end of its life, it erupts in an enormous supernova explosion. So this is why it's so super weird. The possibility in this case is that the star never recovered from its outburst, but instead collapsed into a black hole without going supernova, meaning it potentially created a black hole measuring 85 to 120 times the mass of the Earth's sun. So pretty huge. So they either witnessed something totally different where it disappeared, or it turned into a black hole, which they'll start to figure out. They're going to study the hell out of it. Another thing that you never heard about this year. Kanye West ran for president. Yeah. It was exciting for a moment. He didn't do it right, but he ran. Sort of like, oh, here's one. I was super, you remember the mystery seeds from China? Oh my God. Mystery seeds in China. There are a ton of people in 50 states started receiving mysterious, unsolicited packages from China. So they're unlabeled seeds. Some people planted them. And some people, they listened to the government and said, oh, dispose them, despite the U.S. Department of Ag begging people, don't put these in the ground. We don't know what they are. They could be really bad. A bunch of people who clearly never seen Little Shop of Horrors promptly started gardening with them. Yay, dumb people. Everything that's in the garden where I planted these are having a hard time and starting to die, said one person. You think? So, and this was in New Mexico, one woman wrote. And she left a voicemail to her State Department's ag line from Motherboard website, because who could have seen that coming? So, murder plants that kill other plants don't plant them. If they send them to us, don't plant them. I don't really know what to do at this point, so somebody call me back and give me a little direction. She said, I know I'm a dumbass. And there were a few people who were reported to have actually ate the seeds. That's how you turn into a space creature, like the blob or something. I'm just sure that if you ate those, you would like morph into the fly or something. So don't do it. Don't do it. So that was one of the crazy things this year. We also, we talked about Rory. Here comes Rory. He wants to be on the show. Liberty Cats. There is proof of extraterrestrial life. How did that go away in the news? What are you doing, dude? Yeah. So the joke's on us. Turns out Mars isn't a planet most likely to sustain fellow life forms, but Venus is. So in September, scientists announced the discovery of phosphine on the planet, leading them to reach the conclusion that something now alive is the only explanation for the chemical source. But there's bigger implications to finding that than the fact that we may not be alone in our solar system. If there's life in the upper atmosphere of Venus, wrote astronaut Chris Hadfield, then we're going to find life on many planets and moons and around other stars. Oh, guys. Jeez. Got a fight on the table. Here's another thing, sci-fi. Wormholes might not kill you. Traveling through a wormhole without dying may actually be possible, said the New Scientist in August. Even what is sure to be a relief to anyone who's planning on doing that. I know, like, I was reading that they're joking about it, but it's often been thought that you go through a wormhole to, like, travel to other sides of the galaxy. So maybe it is possible. So under Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity, which describes the behavior of gravity and space-time, most wormholes would either close, whatever something falls in, or be extremely small and disappear immediately. The New Scientist explains this. But physicists at Princeton University found that there are scenarios in which wormholes are big enough that a person could go through them and survive. So now, the possibilities of the sci-fi time travel, like going through to different worlds, is a possibility. So Kellyanne Conway's 15-year-old daughter broke a major news story by telling her mom. So this sounds like a kid. Guys, I love that they want to fight during the show. So Kellyanne Conway's 15-year-old daughter, Claudia, was having COVID-19 in October before she could make the announcement on Twitter. So, update, my mom has COVID, she wrote in her TikTok video. So she scooped her own mom. So, oh my God, this is what she wrote. 15-year-olds are great, by the way. I'm furious. Wear your mask. Don't listen to our effing president piece of shite. Protect yourself and those around you. Yep, 15-year-olds. Kellyanne Conway wasn't happy with how the media treated her 15-year-old daughter. It's a kid. She's true. She said the truth, and she's hilarious. So there you go. The monoliths, those are popping all over the place. Those silver shiny pillars that showed up everywhere. So they're all around the world, and I'm going to show you a picture of the monoliths. Oh man. Okay, so they're showing up all over the world. I don't know if this is some sort of unified, like maybe it's like artists doing it. I don't want to click on a video. I don't want to click on a video. But, some of them look a little different. So I'm wondering if people are doing them on their own. There. I don't like these pictures. Oh, I'm so lame. Oh, let's see. I'm just gonna find a picture. There's a better picture. I just hate it when you get like these crappy ass pictures people post on Facebook and you're just like, come on. Okay, well, that's gonna have to do, I think. It's like it could have been better. Here's a pretty one. We'll do that. I'm just gonna show it in the new tab and I will share it with you guys. Amazon and the U.S. government joint venture to spread COVID via monoliths. I love it, David. Oh, oh, I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, I get, sometimes you get people who like brighten your life, and David, Nick, you're one of them. And you get a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm not interested in this. I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to watch. But, it's just so like hard when you get heckled, Oh man, it's tiny. So anyway, that's the idea. They're like these metal monoliths. They're all over the world. It's crazy. And what I don't understand is, like, what does it mean? Like I feel like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where he's making the mountains with those mashed potatoes. Well, this means something. What does it mean? And maybe it's nothing. Maybe the aliens are putting them down, but they're all over the place. They're covered in they're in the desert of Utah. They're in Antarctica. They're in Asia. And this week alone, there's Gainesville, Florida, Noonan, Georgia, Budapest, Hungary. I saw one that just Australia. There was just amazing amounts. There's Fort Pierce. Noonan, yes, it's just there's all over the place. So what do they mean? Who knows? Wikipedia actually has a list of the monoliths. I wonder if there's a numbered. Oh my God, they're all over the world. There's so many. When did they start? So December. So the first one appeared in Utah. What date was that? November 18th. So they reported it. Oh, July and October. They think that it was started in July. And so that was the first one and it was found. And then after that, they're starting to pop up all over the place where people start noticing them. Really cool. So I think that people have their own ideas of what these are. Tucker Carlson was convinced that the apparitions of the monoliths are the work of aliens. Anti-monolith backlash has been swift and fierce, with skeptics calling them lame marketing ploy and possessing strong, bad Burning Man art energy. Don't make me think that something interesting has happened unless it's real, Sarah Jones wrote in a response for New York Magazine. I want to see an alien. If you can't produce one, to hell with you and your installation art. Be careful what you wish for. There's still a couple weeks left in 2020. So there you go. What do you think? Did I miss something big that you think we should have talked about today? There's a lot of stuff that kind of flew under the radar. There's lots of celebrity deaths. There was lots of sadness, but I think the funny, weird stuff is more captivating to me. Oh, yeah. I was just thinking, there are a lot of always when you do shows for a long time, you get people that they just grind you down, like, oh, it's so easy to go and just heckle people, and you got to come up with stuff every week. And obviously I'm not getting paid to do any of this stuff. So it makes you kind of sad, and this is a year where it's really easy to get sad about stuff. And I know, I try to always be upbeat and happy. I read this, David. I honestly believe that monoliths, if alien produced, might be either space-time travel devices or complete freaking hoax like crop circles. It's probably crop circles on that end of the spectrum, but I remember reading there was a prediction, there was a book about predictions, and they had said something at the end of days that there would be something that would teleport people to a safe place because the earth was going to get destroyed for whatever reason. And so it was something like devices that would bring you. So maybe if we find out that the earth is going to get destroyed, you should go to the monoliths, because those are probably our best bet of getting out of here. Why not? So anyway, yes, I will stay positive for you guys. It's just this whole year, it's just been so weird. So anyway, I have some intellectual freedom news, and there is some like interesting stuff. What do I want to start with? Oh, we're gonna do world news first, because I like this story. This is from The Guardian in the UK, and they were talking about how COVID, the pandemic and everything, is being used as a pretext to curtail civil rights around the world. So, people are really, really willing to give up all their freedoms, their rights, because of the pandemic. So it's just really easy to give up, and people are more than willing to turn in their neighbors and narc on people and do horrible things in the sense that they feel justified because it's about safety. So civil liberties around the world is bleak right now, because a new study found that 87% of the global population were living in nations deemed closed, repressed, or obstructed. The figure is 4% increase on last year's, before the pandemic, as civil rights were found to have been deteriorated in almost every country in the world during COVID-19. A number of governments have used the pandemic as an excuse to curtail rights such as free speech, peaceful assembly, and freedom of association, according to the Civicus Monitor, an alliance of civil society groups which assessed 196 countries. So if you think that we aren't losing freedoms, we are. Not just like the United States right now, everywhere around the world. By using methods such as detention of protesters, excessive use of force, censorship, attacks on journalists, and harassment and intimidation of human rights defenders, many governments have used COVID-19 to introduce or implement additional restrictions on civic freedoms, said the report. The group categorized fundamental freedoms of association, peaceful assembly, and expression as either closed, repressed, obstructed, narrowed, or open, based on a methodology which combines several data sources. So, more than a quarter live in the worst-rated countries as closed. So, more than a quarter of the people are in the closed countries, where states and non-state actors routinely imprison, injure, and kill people for attempting to exercise their rights. China, Saudi Arabia, and Turkmenistan are among countries in this category. The use of detention as the main tactic to restrict protests only shows the hypocrisy of governments using COVID-19 as a pretense to crack down on protests. Hi, TLO. Welcome back. Nice to see you. The virus is more likely to spread in confined places, but like prisons. But they're putting people in prisons because they're speaking up and they're having their rights taken away. Our research reflects a deepening civic space crisis across the globe and highlights how governments are using the pandemic as an excuse to further curtail rights, including by passing legislation to criminalize speech. And this isn't just like, countries like China. It's happening here too. I mean, the shutdown this way: no group gatherings, assembly free speech, no eating indoors, destruction of an industry, and government punitive damages for violating an executive order. Please end 2020. I know, it's more like 1984, right? Like the book. It's crazy. So it is out of control. Of the 196 countries assessed, just 2, the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Sudan, improved their ratings. So only 2 countries in Africa improved their ratings of freedom during this last year, from closed to repressed. So it's not great, but it's a little bit better there. So I don't know how to feel about that. 11 countries were downgraded. Among the US was one of the ones downgraded. US, Costa Rica, Ivory Coast, Iraq, the Philippines, and Slovenia. So we are in that group that has lost so much freedom that we have downgraded into a closed country. The report says the outlook for people's civil liberties is bleak. Actually, we're more like repressed. I think that's the group that it's in. So here's part of it. During the last year, we had a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement and a lot of protests around the country. Millions of protesters took part of that. And the Trump administration responded with excessive force, police violence, and mass detentions. So in the recent years, several states have enacted restrictive laws which limit people's rights to peacefully protest. That's a mouthful. So while across the U.S., reporters were increasingly detained or injured while conducting interviews or covering protests. So Chile, Costa Rica, Ecuador were downgraded in this study. In Europe, you think Europe would be exempt from it? Or authoritarian moves by governments using the pandemic as a pretext to curtail freedoms have restricted civil rights in Hungary, Poland, Slovenia, and Serbia. Where is Ireland on that list? I would say it is probably on restricted as well. In the West, Africa, 4 countries: Ivory Coast, Guinea, Tiger, and Niger, and Togo. I can't even talk today. It's just like too many things are going on in my brain. We're downgraded from obstructed to repressed. So it's opposite of where you would think some of these things are going on. Like countries where you think they would be totally repressed are actually starting to open up, and a lot of the bigger countries and European countries are actually starting to repress people more and more. So another trend noted by the research group was the direct targeting of excluded groups such as LGBT plus people, immigrants, refugees. In Uganda, they saw LGBT people targeted under the pretext of COVID-19, while in India, informal migrants who have already been negatively impacted by government policies face further violations from the state. So they're using, if they don't like someone anyway, they're using the COVID to find a way to screw them even more. And expanding into the territory of surveillance, China, which is already extensive surveillance industry, used the pandemic to expand that technology. And in Armenia and Israel, the governments took monitoring measures far beyond what is acceptable under international human rights law. They are calling for governments to work with civil society and human rights defenders to halt this downward spiral and push back against authoritarian forces at work. Oh man. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Love it. So, what do you think about that? We're losing rights left and right. It's kind of a bunch of crap. It makes me sad. There's a couple, I got like a lot of really hard news to read today. I'm like in a down mood. I'm happy that I have my Baby Yoda though. I think that has made my week a lot better. But okay, I'm gonna do this. Here's news about the Patriot Act, which if you watched the show Sweet Subversives last night, we talked a little bit about that. Let's see if I can bring that up. Oh, they're trying to repeal the Patriot Act right now. Long story short. In the news. So, Tulsi Gabbard. Who else was with her? This is on the Hill. Massey and Gabbard team up on bill to repeal the Patriot Act, which I am glad. Thomas Massey, a Republican from Kentucky, and Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat from Hawaii, teamed up to introduce a bill last week to repeal the Patriot Act. I am so glad. It has made our world a place where they can take away rights left and right. It protects our civil liberties if we can repeal the Patriot Act, and the FISA Amendments Act that permits government agencies to collect mass telephone and email data on us every day. They argue that the surveillance violates Americans' right to privacy and their civil liberties, which I agree. So this is a bipartisan effort, and I appreciate that. The bill would make sure that Congress re-examines how to best to strike this balance of protecting our national security interests while also ensuring that the constitutional rights of every single American is preserved. Hurrah! Where I'm going to keep a close eye on this because I do think it is quite important. It will not go away easy. I'm just going to say. That's my disclaimer. I would love it to just go away. That would be awesome. They say that it violates the Fourth Amendment and expanded domestic surveillance in the country. Our founding fathers fought and died to stop this kind of warrantless spying and searches that the Patriot Act and the FISA Amendments Act authorize, said Massey. It is long past time to repeal the Patriot Act and reassert the constitutional rights of all Americans. I agree. Yes. Going back, yes, it seems like there's a move for total world control and taking control over all of us as the non-ruling elite. They're always going to give us different rules than they will have. So, as apparent by all of our fearless leaders right now. So, this ties into the U.S. used the Patriot Act. The government, this is part of why they want to get rid of it. They used the Patriot Act to justify logging website visitors in 2020. So the presidential election is a big year, right? So we had lots of news going on all the time about virus cases and the promise of the vaccine. People are very focused on it. However, there's phishing that's going on with vaccine development groups, and organizations that work on the global cold chain will be crucial for storing and shipping vaccine doses worldwide. So there's a magical bug in iOS now patched, could have let an attacker take control of any iPhones in the hacker's Wi-Fi range and automatically worm the infection to other nearby devices. So who is it? Yes, I know who's doing it. The network is. I can put my tinfoil hat on all day, David. And honestly, we will never know. The puppet masters are so far up. The people you see like the Epsteins, they're pretty powerful, but there's people higher up than that even, and they will never be known. Never. It's terrifying. God, it reminds me of a show. It's like American Horror Story, where they had it was like all the Satanists were trying to bring about the end of the world because they were all gonna live in bunkers and stuff. You never know. It could be anything. So anyway, they figured out how to stop this bug. So they can't target the device's firmware. So this is going on around, and the internet infrastructure groups is making progress securing our internet data using Border Gateway Protocol. And Google is looking to have end-to-end encryption in the RCS messaging program. So yeah, a lot of programming stuff. They're trying to secure our data every day because every day there's also hackers out there trying their darndest to get into everything. And there will always be. So security and privacy stories, you'd think that while we know how important it is that we protect our data privacy, you'd think the government would be, yep, we got to protect data privacy. But they have been using Section 215 of the Patriot Act to justify allowing law enforcement to log who visits certain popular web pages, according to documents obtained by the New York Times. Boom, boom, boom. So the government has not gone so far as to collect users' keyword searches in search engines, but has felt emboldened to monitor website visitors without a warrant, without reason. They're just monitoring people. So Section 215, a couple of the surveillance provisions in the Patriot Act expired in March. So they have no reason to keep doing this. The U.S. descended into pandemic social distancing and lockdown measures, and Congress has still not made headway on how to reinstate or revise it. The law allows the FBI to seek clandestine court orders to collect any data from a business that connects to national security-related investigations. They can find the thinnest thread to make it so they can investigate you. So the news about identifying visitors to certain pages concerning to privacy and digital rights advocates, our web browsing records are windows into some of the most sensitive information about our lives, said Patrick Toomey, a senior staff attorney with the ACLU's National Security Project, said last Thursday. The FBI should not be collecting this information without a warrant. If Congress considers reviving Section 215 at all, it must prohibit the government from abusing this surveillance law to track the web browsing activities of people in the United States. So this is a little bit of the background of why the Patriot Act should go away. Because not only is it, like looking into your life, looking into your privacy, it's to stop the government from abusing the power that they have to look into you. And what are they using it for? So the surveillance firm is reportedly exploiting SS7 bugs to gather data for the governments worldwide. So there are so many ways that like the government and worldwide governments are using tools to data breach, like hacker tools, really, to just find out everything about you. And part of the problem with this is that they can use it to target you as an enemy of the state. They can use it to target you as like finding out like how you vote, like if you're anti-vax. So they could round up all the people who are anti-vax, throw them into jail. People who go to restaurants when there's closures, they are like, the sky is the limit of what they can do and use against you. So it is more than important to be looking at this right now. So keep an eye on the Patriot Act. I would like to see it repealed. That would be a great step in the right direction. In libraries specifically, there's always libraries would have a sign up that says, today the FBI has not requested, or law enforcement has not requested to see your viewing your library records. Because they can come in and see, like if they think you're the Unabomber, they can say, what kind of books did they check out? And, it could have been like physics books or whatever. And so the idea is, if that sign left the wall, it meant the feds were there and they looked. So librarians don't like that crap either. Oh, they are totally watching the anti-vax folks right now. So much so. That is why the Patriot Act needs to go away. We need to also, they are also in cahoots with Facebook. They're in cahoots with the major social media. And there needs to be a way to keep their little fingers out of the social media pie. Because if not, then nobody should be really using social media, because they're tracking you. They're tracking you right now. They are. And I worry about local law enforcement getting access to that as well. So just to give you a heads up. So that ties into that now with Biden coming in, they wonder about net neutrality and if it can go away during the pandemic is ending. I'm not gonna guess that he's going to do it right away, because net neutrality actually sort of helps the government in a lot of ways. But the new FCC could bridge the digital divide. Here is my concern is the focus that people are putting on with the FCC is that they want internet for all. They want to have everyone in the whole country to have high-speed internet, which sounds good on the surface, but what it does is it will decimate any competition from media, like internet companies around the country. There won't be any competition. However, I mean, like, if it's government based, they're gonna screw it up somehow. Just saying, like, how great is it gonna be? Like, look at our postal service right now and tell me how great that is. I'm still waiting for a package that was supposed to be here 2 days ago, and it's not. I think it hasn't even left the Twin Cities yet. So it's if you leave the government to run it, I'm not entirely sure it's gonna do great. So, but I do think that the way that they had set it up, so there was no restrictions on the internet companies, made it so we have been throttled to death in the last couple of years since they made the change. And it would be interesting to see if they can make some changes. So there's going to be the first chairwoman. What is their name? In 86 years. I think, did he just announce that too? Who is it? Anna Eshoo? No, that's not who it is. I'm trying to find my notes on it. I thought that he had said that they had picked a new FCC person. Let me look real quick. Because I know that dude's gone. Ajit. What's his name? The guy with the giant mug. You know who I mean, right? That guy, Ajit Pai. That guy. So he was definitely drinking the Kool-Aid. New FCC chair. Oh, yeah. Leaving the agency. I don't know if he's picked a new person. I'm wondering. Did they have it announced? That was back in November. I haven't seen it. You'd think that would stand out. He's leaving on January 20th, so he's going to step down, leaving Biden a clearer path to reshape the agenda. Has he said who he's going to pick? This is from November 30th, so we got a ways back. I'm just curious. It would be really nice to have someone who can shake it up and get a little bit more fairness in there. I'm hoping that we get somebody who's sort of middle of the road, though, because I would like them to not totally bend to the government will, and also I would like them to support businesses so we can still be America, right? So let's see. I only got a couple minutes left. Why data privacy is crucial to fighting disinformation. This one is on nextgov.com, and I thought that was kind of cool. NextGov, it talks about the data we give tech companies when we buy online or we tweet will soon fuel disinformation campaigns. So this goes back to how they're data mining the hell out of us, like Facebook. All of the companies online you are the product, but also the government is too. So data privacy is more important. The Patriot Act, making sure that every area of your life there is strong data privacy rules in place to protect us. So there's U.S. Cyber Command. The fact that the 2020 election was relatively free of foreign or, if not, domestic disinformation may reflect a pause as adversaries shift to subtler manipulation based on personal profiles built up with aggregated data. So, yes, there was not like obvious foreign interference, but instead subtle interference by manipulating what news you see, what emotional response, targeted ads, targeted messages. You will be receiving this like all the time. So it may not be obvious where it's coming from. It may seem like your friends are like doing things. And sometimes I wonder with the things that we see on social media, how many of them are fake and they're posted to just kind of like rev you up. And that's kind of where they're going with this is this purely commercial marketplace is producing technologies that can be weaponized and used for purposes of influencing people in the United States to do things other than just buy products. activating people who are otherwise just observers to political phenomenon, and it's going on to is accomplishing extreme shift towards greater political activism, which can be a great thing. It can motivate people. However, sometimes it can be used to motivate violent outcomes, like violent protests, violent like lashing out. I mean, I've seen things where people are doxing certain individuals because they believe differently about masks and stuff. It can be dangerous. So, at what point is this something that needs to be toned back? I don't know. They have digital clones. There's privacy violations. There's taking the data and selling your everything you have. There's a digital clone of a person. You can much better predict his or her online behavior. So they're making like AI versions of you. Like, how would digital Heather respond to this baby Yoda in a I don't know, in a raincoat? I'm like, oh, he's so cute. Or that's stupid. That color does not go with baby Yoda or whatever. And you never know, like, the way they're going to use it. So, long story short, the governments are making several organizational changes to counter foreign disinformation. So they are aware that this is going on, that ideas are being plugged into our social media every day, and it's expanding and growing. And it's kind of like those Chinese plants that they sent out, poisoning everything around it. So they're worried, but also they're learning from the evil that's coming through and doing that themselves. So we need to work hard. We need to work really hard to make sure that they're not going to use this as, mind control, like 1984 stuff. I feel like that's kind of the way we're going in a lot of ways. So what do you think about that? Do you think we're all going to turn into like 1984, we're in gray jumpsuits everywhere. We probably like lose names. We just go by numbers. We'll have little barcodes on us that show we've had our shots, and they'll inject us with little nanites that control our minds. And, like I saw a video game where like all the people had to take these happy drugs so they could be compliant. Are they making us more compliant? It kind of seems that way. So, I didn't mean to end on a downer note, man. I feel like that's kind of the way it was going. I'm going to bring up my baby Yoda. Come here, baby. Oh, hey, his little thing at the bottom is so heavy. So, on behalf of baby Yoda and myself, I hope you have a good rest of the week. Baby Yoda says that not all of this show is always for everyone, and he understands if you didn't want to hang around, it's okay. I'm happy that the rest of you did, and you guys are the best. And the fact that I get to see you every week makes all of this worth it. And I will try hard next week to be back. It's Christmas Eve though, baby. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do more than a little short bit, but I will. We're not really going anywhere. We, like everything's locked down in Minnesota. It's kind of a bummer, but I hope you have a good week. I hope that everything goes well for you. And, I'm going to start working on like the end of the year, like New Year's resolutions. So start thinking about what your resolutions are. And baby Yoda, mwah. Have a good week. Be well. Take care and have happy holidays. I will probably just do a real short bit next week, but I will try to say hi to y'all. So take care. Be good. Be healthy. Be awesome. And don't let the government get you down. See you guys later.